What's happening? Good evening. Welcome everybody. It's the Usual Words Pod Show, Thursday Talk Live, open topic format. Just another addition to the Usual Words Pod Show content every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Um, Mighty Moolah, King Dukes is not in tonight, but I will hold it down for our Thursday Talk Live tonight. Again, as always, with our live stream Mondays, you can check us out on YouTube, the Usual Words Podcast on YouTube, the Usual Words Pod Show on Facebook, and Jamu page on Facebook as well. So this Thursday night, the night before Halloween. Hope everybody's doing well, man. Tonight we sponsored by King Fit. That is King Duke's brand. Make sure you check that out. He has a new branding that he's coming out with. He's had the brand for a while, but he's coming out with a new drop in January, I believe. So we'll be sharing more information about that. But make sure you keep your eyes out for my partner, man. My partner, my brother, King Duke's doing a bit with King Fit, and make sure you cop that gear. He's got some dope stuff coming out. So again, that'll be around the top of the year of 2026. King Fit, moves on Enterprises, notary signatures here in Georgia if you need that, and still certified home inspector as well. Got a little time on my hands because I am a career. I am a civil servant as a career, but right now I'm still working, but we are in the midst of a shutdown. So just hope everybody's doing okay. I know some things are happening government wise that may be affecting you. And if so, I hope to have somebody on here this evening that will be able to share like some resources, food bank, and other resources for you and your family if you so need it, or just need to pass along the information for those who may need that type of assistance or resource during this time. So appreciate y'all joining us. Again, the Usual Words Pod Show. This is our Thursday Talk Live open topic format. I am Mighty Moolah. King Dukes is my partner, my co-host. He's not in tonight, so feel free to, if you got a link or you want the link to join in as a guest co-host, hit me up on Jamu page or the Usual Words Pod Show page and DM us. I think I can check the DM for the messages for the Usual Words. Hit me up on Jamu page, and if you know me and you have my number, hit me up, and I'll send you the link so you can join on as a special guest host tonight. Open topic format, like I said, man. This is our Thursday Talk Live, the Usual Words Pod Show. Really, we just talking, man. I haven't got any topic suggestions, so I will ramble on for a minute. You know what I mean, or two, or three, and just so that we can see who all joins us this evening. And podcasting, bro, is not really for the weak. Podcasting or media, if you don't know, I had a show with a partner of mine, Zach. Shout out to Zach Griffin, man. He should come on. I should have sent him the link. I don't know why. I think I saw him send the link, but we used to have a show on radio, Three in the Paint radio show that was on iHeartRadio Media. Through what's the name of it? Through Beasley Media Group, and that was, man, we had a great response to that. That was every Tuesday. We was doing that every Tuesday and Thursday, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we just had a good time doing the show. Had a great response. Had sponsors and stuff like that. So, uh, just getting back into it. I just want to encourage you if you are someone who's getting into media. I met Zach before we started our show. Before we started Three in the Paint Radio Show, we met in broadcasting school. So we both went to a broadcasting school. Both are military veterans, Army veterans. Shout out to all my fellow Army veterans, military veterans, and those still serving. Thank you for your service. Salute y'all. Um, I understand, hopefully these things get taken care of with our, in Congress so that we can make sure that our troops are taken care of, um, and just, other things as well. But it's just baffling to the mind that we can't have we don't have our troops being able to be taken care of when most budgets that we pass are in the dang near, triple billions, multiple billions of dollars, um, for Department of Defense and for military spending. So, but shout out to all my veterans, man, um, and active personnel. Salute y'all. Appreciate your service for sure. What up, Karen? What up? Join the chat if you want to. Again, we on YouTube, the Usual Words Podcast on YouTube, the Usual Words Pod Show on Facebook, and Jamu page on Facebook as well. We're not streaming live on Instagram. Instagram be tripping, man. Like I put a comment on somebody page, something. It wasn't even like because I don't comment like going at people or whatever like that. It usually be like something funny or the fire emoji, the 100 emoji, or something like that. But I just put like my opinion about something, no curse words, no nothing. IG flagged the comment, and I went to see what the flag was about, and it was like something about it didn't even really specify. It said it went against the rules of Instagram or something like that, Meta or whatever. And I was like, what in the world? Okay, you know what I mean? So they didn't put me on a timeout. It was like it's a warning. Like, dang, I had to. And then they deleted the comment, and I tried to see, like, to go back and look and see, like, oh, what did I put? Like, let me see what I actually put. I couldn't even bring the comment back up to see. So I'm like, oh, listen, I don't know what that is, but we're not streaming on Instagram at this point in time. The Usual Words Pod Show page is on Instagram though, under UYW Pod, and that is the Usual Words Podcast Show on Instagram as well. So we have some content on there. I gotta step it up, you know what I'm saying, do some more um, editing, get some more reels out. But um, you know, like, subscribe to the YouTube page if you will. If you feel so inclined, we appreciate that. All the support, all the engagement, anything that you all do, we really appreciate it, man. Again, Mighty Moolah, King Dukes isn't in. I ain't gonna keep saying that because I think he might. I might have made him mad, man. But he ain't. He ain't on the. King Dukes be working, bro. He be working. So you know what I'm saying. He got to do his thing, and I'm definitely all for that. So tonight, again, if you want the link, let me know in the chat. Send me a DM. I am able to check my uh, messenger on Facebook. Send me a DM on the Usual Words Pod Show on Instagram. I will get and give me an email or a number, and I can send you the link for you to join as a special guest host this evening before we get off. If you already have the link, just click it, and it'll take you through the steps to bring you backstage, and then we can come on. You can come on, and we can have our talk. We can talk about whatever. It is an open topic format. So um, let's talk. Me and King Deuce talked on Monday about over the week, over past this past weekend. Last Saturday they had the verses came back with Cash Money No Limit. Definitely know just a great feeling of nostalgia. What up, Twin? What up, Gemini? Karen, I appreciate you. It was just a great. It was a great verses. It was pretty short. You know what I mean? I heard some information today when I listened to the Breakfast Club at one point today, and I heard something about the location and why it was picked to be Vegas rather than New Orleans. And so apparently there's some, it would have been a lot more difficult to put it on logistically in New Orleans, security logistics. They were concerned. They had concerns about, um, the different wards that were being represented, not about the performers, not about our favorite, personalities and artists from each camp of Cash Money or No Limit, or none of them getting into it. As we saw on the stage, um, from them, it was all love. They made sure to continue to say that it's just a win for New Orleans, and it was great to see that. Birdman had what he had to say at the end of it, but I mean, and that wasn't too surprising. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Um, it was a great show all around. You know what I mean? Mia and Juvie did do that. Mia X looked good too. She looked very good. And shout out to her, man. I heard that she is a cancer survivor. So shout out to Mia X for No Limit. They ain't even really do a lot of songs that she could have did, man. Juvie pretty much held. I saw the same sentiment after the verses the next day. And Juvie pretty much carried, Cash Money through the verses. But it was really good. Yeah, it did. It take you back. That type of music and just the nostalgia of it. Music can do that. It can like transport you right to a specific time and date. You can almost smell what was going on where you were at that time. It's that like just transformative or like it can put you in a specific place. It has that type of effect. So shout out to the verses. I'm glad they didn't do it in New Orleans. If that was going to be the case, if they felt like there was really like some type of dangerous element that would have been at play for them to have it in New Orleans, but because the crowd really wasn't crowding like it's supposed to with that verses, man. But it seemed like it was a younger crowd. They probably know Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne wasn't there. Everybody knows Snoop, so when Snoop came out, he got a big reaction. But it was the crowd thing for me. I think it just didn't give the same energy that we had seen and come to know from verses. And verses is, if you don't know, verses is something that Swiss Beats and Timbaland uh, came up with during the pandemic, uh, when everybody was just kind of inside, and it kind of really just got us through. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it was something for people to tune into and kind of be, anticipating and looking forward to. They had everybody. I think one of my favorite verses was, I think it was, I don't want to say it was Shop, it wasn't Shopper Ranks. They had some janky verses too, though. They had I think it was Babyface and Teddy Riley. They couldn't really get there. They were like the old unks, versus like trying to figure out the Zoom or whatever. They like it was kind of janky, but not because they are janky people, but it was just the technology, and they were kind of like the test rounds of versus how it was getting started. You had Patti LaBelle and Shaka Khan and uh, uh, I think it was not Anita Baker. It was a few of old school like verses. Of course, rest in peace, D'Angelo. He had a great verses. E40 and Too Short. I remember that one. Fred Hammond and Kurt Franklin had a great verses. They and Tamala Man came in on that one. Um, who else? Brandy and Monica had a verses. Brandy killed that. I mean, y'all can say what y'all want. I mean, look, I don't think Monica is a terrible singer. I like Monica. I enjoy it. I think Monica is a good singer. But for me, give me Brandy. Um, Locks and Dipset for sure. That's the one. Yeah, yeah. Jada is a Gemini. You know what I'm saying? He held it down. That was like the talk for a week after that. They were doing numbers after that, man. After that, when they were doing numbers. What up, fam? Are y'all playing tonight? No. Y'all not playing tonight. What up, though? What up, man? Um, but yeah, they the locks, the I think the Snoop Dogg and DMX, that was a great versus. But it was just it was a great platform, a great escape. People would, we started doing verses. I know people, I know me included, started doing verses amongst our own, friends and family and stuff like that. And it gave us the ability to kind of like battle it out and play music or whatever, even if it was over Zoom or whatnot, when everybody had to, stay 6 feet apart and was social distancing and everything else. Do y'all even remember that? Like social distancing, it seemed like a long time ago. That was just what, it's 2025 now. That was, we came out of the end of that in 2022. 2023, there was still people kind of still wearing masks and and stuff like that or whatever. What's up, ma? What's up? That's my mom. Hey, ma. Um, but I wonder if people really, like, really, we really understand that. And I saw a great interview today um, with Roy Wood Jr., who I'm a big fan of. Man, he is hilarious. If you never heard Roy Wood Jr.'s like prank calls, I know everybody talk about Ricky Smiley's prank calls and Nephew Tommy. They were dope. Nephew Tommy, hands down. I mean, he got Ricky Smiley to me. But Roy Wood Jr. is a fool with it. He is just. I don't think he did it that long. He was kind of under the radar because he does so much other stuff, so many other things. Now he was on the Daily Show, but anyway, and now he has his own show on Saturdays on CNN. But he was doing an interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Club Shay Shay and Shannon Sharp, man. Shout out to him for getting through his whole ordeal. You know what I mean? So he had his own thing he was dealing with as well. But Roy Wood Jr. got on there, man, and really, um, he was really, like, he kind of broke down the fact of how COVID really had an effect, like the social distancing, the whole pandemic had an effect on society as a whole, on our society as a whole, worldwide, because it was a worldwide pandemic. You know what I mean? So I don't know if y'all. I mean, I don't, I don't not remember it. I remember it very vividly. Um, a lot of things changed during COVID for me personally, um, but I do remember that it did have a profound effect. I do agree with Roy Wood Jr. what he said in that interview with Club on Club Shay Shay, that it did have a profound effect on our society, and people got used to not being social and got used to kind of just being this type of interaction, and which is, a digital form of interaction. It kind of, it gives you kind of a buffer between somebody's actual, or feeling somebody's actual energy and emotion sometimes. Um, but yeah, it was very. I think it was not to the detriment to society as a whole, but it definitely was a major shift in our social life in society, and I think it made people maybe a little bit more cold, a little bit more less patient with others, especially when we started getting back out. And it's like, oh, you've been now nobody want to deal with somebody when you've been dealing in your own space. You've been having your food delivered, you spraying it off with Lysol. We was actually spraying bags and boxes and stuff like that with Lysol. Uh, I mean, hell, you probably still need to do some of that. Some of that stuff can stay. Like some of the things that we were doing need to stay. Like if you got a cold and you know you getting sick, or you know you are sick and you need to be out, I'm not opposed to you wearing no mask. Ain't no politics behind that. That's just, hey man, each one trying to protect somebody else. Like you sneezing all in your hands and ain't got no hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer machines were everywhere. When they did start letting us kind of get out. Now I live in Atlanta, so Atlanta wasn't playing that social distancing for too long. I mean, that whole we gonna be shut down and in the house. Nah, these strip clubs were like, nah, come on, man. We need to sell these chicken wings. We need to get these chicks to clapping. We need to get these dollars that are being thrown around, making it rain or whatever. You wear a mask, you do whatever, but get in here. And Atlanta opened up, and Mayor Bottoms at that time, she was integral in the part of making sure Atlanta was still making money. It was very few people on the road. I remember after the pandemic when people started actually getting back on the road and how it was when I would drive, when I had to start going back into the office kind of early. And it was like, it looked like, they shot, what's the zombie show? I mean, I'm about to say Night of the Living Dead. I'm old, yeah. I'll be at that old. Fear of the Walking Dead or The Walking Dead. Shot that here in Atlanta or in the Georgia area, Atlanta area. But that's how it looked during the pandemic. If you got out and drove around, um, it was. I mean, the roads were empty. It was like crazy. It looked so. It looked so like surreal. It was just. It didn't. It didn't look. It didn't look. Yeah, The Walking Dead. Right. It didn't look. It didn't look right. It didn't look for real. But it was. And then once it ended, it's like people started getting back on the road. And I remember driving and being like, God, dog, almost like, man, now folk back out here. And it was just back to whatever. And people had to I never heard so many horns being honked at people and stuff like that on the actual highway. Because usually that ain't really what you hear in Atlanta. I mean, it's just a free fall almost. But it was just wild. That whole time of being locked down it really did something to us. You know what I'm saying? It had an effect on us. I think there is some post traumatic stress from that period of time. There were people who, of course, didn't take it seriously and didn't really care about that and all that. Everybody was like, "This is our tribe," and you got to have the people who aren't infected around you or whatever. It was weird, man. It was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, the deaths. Like people were dying. So, but we made it. But and that's not to like skim over that part. God bless the dead, man. I lost a lot of love. I lost loved ones during that time. You know what I'm saying? Specifically my father. So, and I know my ex-wife lost her mom and that type of thing, and people that I know lost uncles and aunts and friends and family and stuff like that. So it had a profound effect on us as a society. And I don't think that we have fully, or if we will ever fully recover from that, like what that did to us mentally and social. Funny how it was called social distancing and actually reduced social life. People got used to being separated and communicating without considering anyone. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's other than the people that you were around, and you got to think some people didn't have. If you had the social distance and you were like a single person, or you lived in a town where you were there as a transit person there for work, and you didn't have family around you and you couldn't be around family, and you had older people or something like that in your family who you just couldn't be around because of the risk that there was. Um, and then all the misinformation and whatever, but it kind of just put you in a place where it's like you're not going out, you know what I mean? So um, yeah, it makes you, it made a lot of people kind of like, I don't want to deal with people. And yeah, used to being separated. Um, but yeah, it is back to kind of like business as usual in a sense. Um, I think personally, um, it shows us that like nobody would have ever thought that. Like I know I didn't. I would have never. There are two things that have happened since I've been an adult. That three things that have been four things. All right, four things, five things. Now, okay, four things that have happened to me or that have happened in my lifetime to me personally or that I've experienced that have really changed, like that are monumental type experiences. My first one being as a 22-year old, a newly 22-year old, um, dang, five things. All right. Five things. So five things that really happened. Um, how about six things? Five things that really happened. It might end up being six things. I don't know. But hey, I'm just saying. I'm trying to because there is a lot, but profoundly 9/11 for sure. I remember date. I remember where I was exactly that whole day. I remember that day from morning to night, that whole day of 9/11. That was the first thing. Second thing, I was in the military at that time. So, second thing was ending up doing going on my first deployment when I got mobilized with my unit. Um, and that was in 2002. And you know, just life changing for me in that regard. Like never having experienced a foreign trip before. I flew on a plane before, flew, stateside, a few times as a teenager, as a young adult, many times. But to take your first like 18-hour flight on a military plane and you're going into a war zone, or what will become a war zone, um, that was actually life changing. And never would think I would experience, as far as living in a time where where the country is at war and I'm actively a part of that. You know what I mean? It's part of defending the war and as a soldier. So it was that's the second thing. Yeah, like it was just I'm sure everybody remembers if you were alive during 9/11 and you weren't a newborn or a little kid, you remember. Even probably a little kid, depending on how old you were. I'm thinking if you were about 7 or 8, you probably remember because they were in school. You've been in school at that time. So, um, but yeah, so going to war, really experiencing that my first deployment. That was the second thing. The I think pandemic, like the pandemic is the third one. That was like something I would never imagine. It's like you like what the is it about to be a zombie? The zombie apocalypse is here already. Like, come on, man! I ain't even got all my ammo that I need. There was this other gun that I wanted to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm setting up positions in the house. You know what I'm saying to make sure that I know where I can defend the crib from. You know what I'm saying? So the pandemic was wild. It was so much crazy information. Um, Still, as a federal employee, it was wild because they had been telling us for years we couldn't tell the word, and then somehow they figured it out that we were able to. So, I mean, and thank God, what I'm saying to continue to be able to work a career position and make a check. But so that's it. The pandemic, pops passing, that was like, crazy. You know what I mean? That was another thing. Then going back and coming out of the pandemic with life being a lot different. Being divorced and having, two kids and stuff like that and figuring it out. So it was wild, man. And I think a lot of people have that type of events or that have happened and just haven't been able to really deal with it yet. So not to get too heavy, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Oh, tonight is Thursday night football. Again, the Usual Words Pod Show live. I'm about to say live stream Monday. It's not Monday. This is our other Thursday Talk Live open topic format. Drop a topic in the comments, or if you want the link, or if you have a link and you want to join as a special guest host, you're welcome to do that. Marty Moolah, King Dukes is not in, so come on to help me out if you want, if you feel so inclined. Tonight is Thursday night, so Thursday night football is on. The NFL, two teams. Well, one of these teams that I did not see having this type of record. They've been looking awful, but Lamar Jackson is back with the Ravens tonight. He's coming off an injury and coming back to play. They just scored. Baltimore is playing. They're playing Miami, who just beat the brakes off Atlanta somehow. But Atlanta doing what Atlanta does. You know what I'm saying? Why is your money? Why? Look, don't put no money on Miami. Don't put no money on nobody. Lenny moves on. We not doing no. We don't do no betting over here. Not no sports betting. I can't do it. I need to enjoy the game. I talked about this on live stream Monday with King Dukes. I can't. Sports gambling just don't make it. As somebody who plays sports, organized sports, and somebody who loves it, like I get it. You know what I'm saying? You can place a little to each their own. You can place a little wager here, and some people like, oh, I do parlays or whatever, and if it hit, that's cool. I'm not trying to watch the game like that. I'm trying to enjoy it. I couldn't be at a game and try to enjoy the whole experience of being at a game, knowing that if this team lose, I'm out of some money. You know what I mean? Like that would weigh more on me than if they win, I'm gonna win some money. I'll be thinking about the fact that if they lose, other than just if they lose, I just be upset and talk trash, and it just we just go on about our day or whatever, and be like, whatever, come on the show and say what I want. But hell, if I'm gambling and on sports and I can't even enjoy the game like that and they lose, shoot, I might not even be able to get out of bed to do the show. And I don't want to talk football. I don't want to talk no more. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to place another bet to cover something else that you I'm good. So, but shout out to all my sports gamblers, man. Y'all, good luck to y'all. Y'all see what the NBA doing? I wouldn't even. Nah, I'm good on that. But yeah, Baltimore is up on the Miami Dolphins 7-3. Uh, like I said, Lamar Jackson is back from injury, so I'm gonna take Baltimore, just taking them as a gentleman's pick to win that game tonight. We got about 30 more minutes. I'm gonna give us to about 9:15 tonight or whatever. I did want to share this, and it's not. I have a silly brain sometimes, and I don't know about y'all, but I need a good laugh every day. I got to have it. I got to have it like I pray every day. There are certain things that I'm gonna do every day as that I need every day personally. I don't know about y'all. I would suggest this though. I'm not gonna start saying one, two, three, four, five things or whatever, but these are things that I need to do every day. One is uh pray. Um for sure. Um that's every day. Um yeah, and the other, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm responding to this thing. Um okay. Pray, have a laugh. I got to get something funny in every day. Every day. I got to see something, read something, whatever. I gotta be fun. I gotta get a laugh in every day. I don't care the toughest days when it's toughest to want to laugh. That's the days that I'm really going in deep to try to find a good laugh. Pray, get a good laugh. Definitely got to get, you know what I'm saying, do my business, you know what I'm saying, get that boo boo in, you know what I mean? Y'all better be doing it. Then you hit your 40s, man. Hey, regular, hey, get regular, man. Do what you gotta do. Take some fiber, whatever you need to do. But you need to do. You know what I mean? You need to get that in. And also, so that's three things that I got to have it every day. Pray, a laugh, doo doo, and learn something new. Learn something new, or learn something, or try to get on something and try to complete a task. That's why I aim to do every day. Outside of the things that I know I can do every day. Um, and also make sure I tell my girls, my children, I love them every day. Um, so those are the things that I have to do. I spoke earlier, real quick. I spoke earlier about um, early on when we first came on the Usual Words Pod Show, live, Thursday Talk Live, every Thursday 8 p.m. Eastern. I talked earlier about having someone come on that is going to help us um, share about some resources that, with the government shutdown, there's been a lot of uh, struggling going on. You know what I'm saying? So you might, if you need these resources, great. If you don't, you can pass them on. Um, but let me bring on Keisha. Let me see if she's still here. Keisha, you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You
Let's
can?
see. Hi, Keisha, you're live. Breaking. Nah, it's fine.
Hi.
What's happening, man? You on the Usual Words Pod Show Thursday, talk live, open topic format. I was, you know, encouraging you or asking you to come on and help, maybe share some resources about food banks and other resources for those who may be facing some um, some tough times as far as with the government shutdown.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
I'm in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and so there are some food banks locally here. The best way to try to access those resources is through the 211 system. You simply pick up the phone, call 211, and they can direct you to localized resources that are available. Um, Recently, Governor McMaster, I believe it's actually last night or the night before, later afternoon, he had made an announcement that they were activating the One South Carolina Fund out of the community foundation there in Columbia, and for those that may have additional resources that they can contribute to help other South Carolinians around the state, you have the opportunity to contribute to that particular fund. And what that fund will do is disperse large scale dollars to localized food banks across the state, so that we can be prepared. And for those that may be losing those SNAP benefits, they can have the availability of food items through that
Awesome.
process. So that it was encouraging to hear that come from Governor McMaster, that he was utilizing the opportunity to have that fund activated, that emergency fund. The last time it was activated was during Hurricane Helene,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
allowed the ev- our everyday citizens. Like, it really is one of those things that reminds us of our social fabric that often feels like it's being deteriorated and broken down.
Right.
That we still really care about each other, and this is a tangible way for people to be able to demonstrate that. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm thank you for first of all for making yourself available and coming on. Um,
sure.
you know, I appreciate that. The situation is so for South Carolina. I wish I was able to have somebody on that I knew that was kind of had some resources, but I am working on that. As long as the shutdown goes on, if it's on from till Monday coming, I hope to have somebody on Monday during our business spotlight who can shed light on some resources here for residents in Georgia and for listeners and people who follow the show on Georgia. Just putting this information out there can be shared as well. But for South Carolina, um,
But
that is
211 is something that most all states have as an
okay.
information line. So it doesn't matter if you're in South Carolina or wherever. A lot of times they're run through um, county United Ways, and most everywhere there's some form of a United Way in place. So
You're right. You're right. You know what? It is 211 here in Georgia as well. So thank you for that. It is that it absolutely is a 24/7 line. If you call 211 service, connects people to resources for food, housing, and other social services. So great information, Keisha. Thank you so much for that. Because I did not know that was kind of like a statewide, multiple states, and that could be the thing.
yeah, no, that's a national, similar to 911.
Well, what are you seeing in um, where are some food banks in Spartanburg? In local, locally, since you're based in Spartanburg, what are some areas that you know specifically of in Spartanburg?
Yeah, so Total Ministries has a food bank. There's the Harvest Hope Food Bank as well. There's another, and it's not typically completely free, but there's a organization called Roots Gleaning,
Hmm.
and what they do is they recover food that would typically be just discarded and make it readily available. So a lot of times the things that they're fresh fruits, vegetables typically is what they're looking for. Sometimes it's even like baked breads and that type of thing.
Yeah,
But they'll get those from local restaurants, also from grocers. Um, if there are farmers that may be selling their own fresh fruits and vegetables, but it is not the most attractive, or like the ugly fruits, ugly vegetables that are a
oh
little
yeah,
misshapen,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
they will collect those and then redistribute them out to other food banks as well. They also distribute food boxes. Um, it
like
used to be
MREs.
no, no, like fresh fruits and vegetables and
Oh,
other non-perishables.
okay,
But this is kind of the dilemma that we're um, dealing with, because there were systems in place here locally, and it's not something that's necessarily completely unique to Spartanburg, but definitely here they had a system where individuals that had SNAP benefits could double the value of those food boxes that they were typically receiving through a combination of both private funds and then the SNAP benefits, and they brought those two together to allow them to double the value of their SNAP benefits.
okay,
So this is going to exploit the shutdown and the unavailability of federal resources for food is really going to destabilize a lot of households, um, and
yeah,
have tremendous impact on in particular young children and adolescents. Like it's kind of crazy that our government would make that choice as a political posturing, but
Mm.
you
It
know,
is.
at any rate, that's
It's
it's going to have some tremendous impacts on the overall health and wellness of young children if they're not able to access um, the federal dollars that private industry was coming alongside of to actually double the value of it.
right. Um, yeah, it's tough times, man. It's like um it's
And
really
it's tough for everybody. Like
yeah.
I'm coming from a meeting I had with some women who have a book club. I joined them tonight for the book review, and we were all kind of casually talking about a
Hold on.
couple, different stuff.
Hold
Huh?
on one second, Keith. Okay, hold on, because I need. Let me interject. You and if y'all don't know Keisha Gray, first of all, I don't know how you don't know her because she's part of whatever group you probably got. You probably in. Let me just say that whatever social construct, and I'm joking, but you really make yourself available. What have you added to your plate? A book club? Like what book club is it, Keith? Is it like
Yeah.
Uncle
So
Winfrey type thing?
no, it's just Princess. I have my best friend, and her sister had started the book club some
Yeah,
years ago. Yeah, they had started some years ago. I was not faithful to the book club because I was in the trenches with these children,
right. There
and
you go. Right.
now that our youngest has graduated high school, is now off to college, it's created this new opportunity for me to
Right. Right.
rediscover some time.
Right.
And so I went tonight and we did a review of Viola Davis's Finding Me book, which was wonderful.
Mm,
Um, but during that conversation, before we got into the meat of this discussion around the book itself, um, kind of tongue in cheek, it's some of the ladies were talking about, how there's all these food drives and trying to in preparation for the community kind of coming together. And one of the ladies was like, "Yeah, I wanted to, but I went to go purchase some canned goods for my own household, and I was like, I really can't afford to do a number of canned goods for somebody else because the cost of food just in general has
yeah,
grown exponentially." And so, even for those that have a spirit of altruism, a willingness to be um, a giver and to share, which really comes much more naturally to the human experience
it
than
does. Yeah.
we
It,
like to talk about.
right.
We often like to tout philanthropy, large scale philanthropic investments as true philanthropy, but um, there's a lot of philanthropic things that people do every day when we can recognize the humanity in somebody else and be willing to pour into that person with whatever wares you have. There's been studies that have been done, um, and actually per capita or as a percentage of available resources, those that typically have the least to give are the most generous in their giving whenever they can identify opportunities for pouring into someone else.
Absolutely.
Um,
I
and,
believe.
and so, I despite the frustration and the hardship as our political process kind of plays out, um, and I believe in the spirit of humanity that
Mhm.
we'll figure it out. It's going to feel probably much more like a natural disaster kind of experience and people rallying together because there's something about seeing others suffer and the suffering of others humans that unless you're just disconnected from even your own self, there's a willingness to try to resolve towards healing that suffering or stopping that suffering. So
Absolutely.
It'll be
I think,
tight. I mean, like it's a good opportunity for me to cut back, push away from the table.
hey
Um,
man, hey,
I'm a,
Thanksgiving.
I'm a take that's the silver lining for me.
Hey,
Um,
Thanksgiving is going to be a seriously thankful Thanksgiving this year for a lot of people, and it's really it might be a opportunity that even if you can like have a crazy spread as they say, you know what I'm saying, and we got the greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, ham,
mhm,
yams, y'all, and all that. Um, it might be an opportunity to say, hey, look, like what do we really you know what I'm saying? Like, what do we really do? I've been, somebody who uh is kind of a renaissance, man. And I've worked a number of jobs before, landing my career. But I will say, uh, I remember, seeing that some of these, living in a country where, and I didn't realize this till I got a little older, that man, when I worked at some of these, I'm not even gonna say the name of the restaurants because all of them, for the most part, do it. Um, but the amount of food that was just thrown away, and I'm not talking about food that was expired or, you know, uh, inedible, or anything like that. I'm talking about food just that it was like, oh well, we didn't serve it today, so out it goes. Our
yeah.
mama knows because I remember telling her, and she was like, "Well, make sure you bring you box up some of that chicken."
Yep.
And look,
Yeah.
she had a tendency. And shout out to mama, she on comments, but she had a tendency to maybe not be right on time every time she picked you up from somewhere. But she used to, when I tell you she used to be on time to pick me up from Hardy's, boy. Ooh, out there in that parking lot waiting for me to come out with that chicken, boy. Cause she get, hey, show up, man. Johnny got the chicken. Johnny got the chicken. So,
And that's
but
that's really not to like bring the mood down or the levity of the
yeah, go ahead.
conversation,
No, I'm just playing. Go
but
ahead. Bring us back to
but
reality, because I'll
yeah,
get
but
it.
the truth is like that's really a terrible example of a process issue and a business wanting to safeguard itself from litigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that restaurants would choose rather than to make the food readily available because of regulatory practices, and you can understand that, but to
Yeah,
mitigate against someone choosing to like create a lawsuit against them because they ate some leftover food,
right.
um, and the threat of food poisoning and then them coming back and litigating against them, the question becomes how do, rather than being wasteful in those ways, how do we think about a simpler process where before it gets to the point where there's danger of um, creating illness because of consumption, but you may not want to necessarily serve that to a customer who is paying. How can we collect that food
Right.
and make it readily available to those that may be experiencing homelessness or just may not have the kind of resources to be able to purchase the food on their own.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's essentially the way that we have been dealing with that from a business perspective is extremely wasteful,
Yeah.
right? Because um, it's food that 99% of the time could be edible without any issue. But
Keisha, we
when
ate it. We ate it. Do you
I
remember
know,
getting? I didn't get sick not one bit. I'm talking about licking our fingers and everything. Wasn't nobody getting sick.
yeah,
I knew that chicken well, but to your point, it was because of SOPs and standard operating practices and procedures and what like you said, safeguarding themselves and saying, oh well, we can't give this to the homeless shelter, or we can't you know make some meals out of this or whatever because of da da da. And I'm like, bro, like we get rid of, like, we just fried this chicken. You know what I'm
right,
saying? We actually fried it like 30 minutes before we supposed to close, so that was wrong. It's still now under a heat lamp for hours and hours. Of course, that's a a health inspection, as far as a
Yeah.
flag there. But that's not because of that's because of the risk, again, regulation. And me being a
Yeah.
regulator in the on the federal side, those are things that are put in place because you don't want to have practices that companies push the limit, and you got to give them a limit. You know what I mean? Because they'll let it sit up there all day and still serve it if they can make their money, and they don't have they can cook less chicken or cook less
Right.
product or whatever. So
Right.
there's that. But yeah, absolutely, it's 99%. I mean, edible and that type of thing. But yeah, it is something that I don't think I got to see the scope of our food consumption as a nation and just consumer, like how what we consume from major food manufacturers. I won't get too into it because of course, being an employee, but I say this, like, we are a nation. Our GDP is still tremendous. We still have there should not people who go hungry in our country. I
Right.
it's mind is baffling to the mind. And
Yeah.
for whatever you want, the people have to say on certain platforms or certain sides or in certain circles about folks who take subsidies, or what they call subsidies, in one set of people they call welfare, or they call free this or whatever for other certain communities. You know what I mean? Other cultures, and it's like this all the same. People need help.
Yeah.
And it's just the the stigma that we put on things like that every something that every human will need. Somebody found a way to put a stigma on it for political gain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's wild. You know what I mean? Like the pandemic, we was just talking about the pandemic. I don't know if you was listening before we brought you on, but during the pandemic, I think we saw that type of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, look, it don't you can't sit here and you had people, what they were talking about, hoarding and buying up cases of Lysol and all this other stuff, and then come to find out
Yeah.
Lysol wasn't really killing that like that. It wasn't really
Right.
going to do all this anyway. And but that is a human instinct to say, okay, let me get mine, first or whatever. But
Yeah.
but it is still, like you said, it's still a human instinct to want to help others. I
Yeah.
think that is the human spirit. Period. It has to be you've kind of had to work that out of yourself, or life has just beat you up so bad to where you just stop caring or whatever. Because if it wasn't the first human spirit, if it wasn't part of our human spirit, they wouldn't tell you on the airplane, make sure you put your mask on first.
Right.
They would say your mask gonna drop. Put your mask on. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't make it a point to be like, hey, make sure you put your mask on first before you try to help somebody. Because they know that like when times get hard, or there's certain type of things like that happen, most people inclination is to be like, let me help somebody, let me help this
Yeah.
person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the that's the thing that in the work and the that I get the pleasure of doing every day is a part of it is wondering and trying to figure out what is the thing and how do we tap into what comes natural to human beings and what comes natural to us to want to be altruistic to one another without having to create the natural disaster scenario. Like, how can we understand or better create the conditions in which people always see and recognize the value of us together as opposed to this individualism that never really serves anyone
Right.
exceptionally well. It helps when humans are like leaning into our other natural propensities towards comparison, right? Because
Right.
and the thing that kind of motivates you to want to like hoard and make sure that you're
Yeah.
one step ahead of the next person.
Mm-hmm.
But in moments of natural disaster, like everybody's suffering. When the
Mm-hmm.
power is out, nobody has power, and it doesn't matter how much your bank account has in it. When that disaster hits and that loss is made, the infrastructure that allows you to get back to what we consider our normal standard of living,
Mm-hmm.
um, there's no hierarchies, or there's less hierarchies in those situations. Um, so understanding that, and the always creating the necessity of the other person as opposed to this isolation of oneself is the secret sauce that we spend a lot of time collectively as an organization thinking about, and how when we're able to tap into that, how that allows us to help um, others think about program services that can be scaled and delivered so that everybody here has the opportunity to create the kind of lifestyle that they want for themselves.
Yeah. You know,
And really
that's
kind of, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that that's great that you said that because it is those moments. And I was just speaking of like some just really benchmark moments or really like impactful moments in our society that have had had profound impact on my life. And
Mhm.
every one of those instances, I started off with 9/11. And then I went
Yeah.
to the fact that I was deployed because I was in the military and going to war for the first time, my first deployment, and the pandemic. Just those three alone gave
Mhm.
me a because I wasn't old enough to really understand Hugo and Hurricane Andrew and stuff like that, and to really see
Mhm.
like how it it really forged the you saw humankind, like us being human, like
Yeah.
just mankind, just saying, oh, this ain't even got this don't this is affecting everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can get back to
Yeah.
whatever we got to disagree about or fuss about or cuss at each other about later. But right now, the buildings just fell. Whoever's responsible, we'll figure that out. But we got to figure this out. Then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pandemic, it was like we got to figure, you know what I'm saying? This is affecting everyone. And these are just, and maybe that's why these moments are, profound to me. Because it did give me an opportunity to see just like the human spirit, what God had breathed life into. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that we are all connected, despite you know the exterior and despite the surface level things, and 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 you really have to kind of give to your uh lesser self, or your not your better self, to really start seeing your fellow human as somebody who doesn't deserve that type of like assistance or whatever, because of some type of um whatever prejudice or whatever you may have, because literally it could be you. And that's just, but there's been a lot of people who've just been convinced that it's not gonna affect them.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
never be in a position where they may need some help. I remember being in Atlanta. I hadn't moved here. No, I moved here officially, and my car that I had at that time was working fine. But for some reason, I think I didn't. It started getting cold. It was around this time of the year, and I was out in the area. I wasn't really familiar with all of Atlanta. I knew a few places, but I was leaving my barbershop, and my car broke down on like
Mhm.
uh on Moreland Avenue, and the people are familiar with Moreland Avenue in Atlanta, like it goes all the way up like towards it goes all the way up past East Atlanta, like East Georgia, like you can go towards Macon. So I'm up that way. Don't ask me what I'm doing up there. I don't even want to get into that. Now I'm probably doing something I ain't got no bit now to play. But I was up that way.
Lord.
My car broke down, and I mean it's getting cold. I'm trying to crank it up, whatever, da da da. I don't know nobody to really call. I called my barber um at that time, and because me and my ex-wife, we weren't together at that time. So I'm just calling, people who I kind of knew. Not that many of them, and nobody was really
Yeah.
answering. I was out there, and this van pulled up, and I'm thinking, golly, bro, I'm about to get into a shootout or something with somebody. Somebody about to try to take, because I had rims on the car and all this other stuff. No, this black couple pulled out, older couple, and the guy was he was like a preacher. I don't know if he was a pastor or something. But they were dressed in like African clothing or something like that. And they let me sit in the van, and while he, like tried to work on my car. And I was like, nah, I don't need to sit in the van. She was like, no, you sit in the van and da, da, da. And so I didn't sit in the van. So I was out there with him, and he got it to crank up. I think he tried to jump it, and then they let the cable. Anyway, they just helped me, and then I think I offered them like whatever cash I had on me, like appreciate. They ain't know me from. I've never seen them people ever again, and I don't know. It's like
Wow.
I was like, man, I've had that type of instance. So when I look for those opportunities myself, and I've been
Yeah.
able to have those times where I've been able to assist and help and sow the seed of just being helpful, you know what I mean, and helping
Yeah.
somebody, and that really just again, I've had the instance where the human spirit has kept. I think maybe because God know that if I turn cold, then I will be a terror out here, so He can't like
Yeah.
I can't afford to just think there's no hope in humankind. And like, thank God I got children, because I see the face of God in
Yeah.
them all the time. And I'm like, Lord, if my marriage wasn't for anything, at least I got these children, because I could literally, I could be cold. You know what I'm saying? I know
Yeah.
that about myself. I know that just as well as I could, you know, because I am a person who looks to be of a help instead of not taking stuff. So when I felt like I've been taken advantage of, I feel like, look, I'll burn this whole place down to get you back. But God He allows me to see, He presents humankind to me so that I
Mhm.
remain just, loving, you know what I mean? Like loving your neighbor, like looking
Yeah.
at it. And yeah, I got problems with how a lot of our country is divided, and there's people who say certain things or whatever and whoever. And half of it, honestly, I don't even believe it. I don't believe they about that
Yeah.
life. I just believe that
Yeah.
that's what they think they have to believe because they find comfort in it. So, you know, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
the daily philanthropy is something I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that does something when you're able to do it, like
Yeah.
you see the number of times that there's a video where someone's being altruistic to somebody else, where there's a
Okay, hold on,
kid who.
pause, Keisha. Hold on. This is the Use Your Words pod show. Uh, I've heard you use that word twice now. Go on and break that attribute, because I know my
Altruism.
I know everybody that listens is way smarter than me, and I know I you know what I'm saying. So we part of this is learning. So I feel like I can put it in context. I know what it means.
Altruism. The definition of altruism is just
Let me do that.
to be selfless, simply to be selfless, and have concern for the well-being of others. Now,
You're absolutely
phil-
right. Yeah.
philanthropic, yeah, philanthropic acts is a type of altruistic thing. So the fact that the couple stopped was an altruistic thing that they did for you. They were being very selfless. They weren't thinking about their own time constraints, but
Or
they had the
safety.
skill.
They didn't know me. They
Yeah,
didn't know
they
me
had,
either.
yeah, or their own safety, right?
Yeah.
That was a really selfless act.
This was at
Um,
night. This
the
was at night in Atlanta.
Yeah, so like anything that someone does that they're not thinking about themselves, but what can I be doing for somebody else is an altruistic or an example of altruism. Philanthropy is the application of funds in a selfless way. So that's kind of the difference between, like, I was saying it and kind of using it in the same, like, interchangeably, but
Yeah. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. I get it.
philanthropy itself really is about financial giving
Financial. You're
and
right.
being selfless, being being selfless specifically with your wealth,
Yeah, your research.
um,
Right.
and your financial resources. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference between the two terms.
Um,
Yep.
let me first again thank you again. You know what I'm saying for coming on. It's our Thursday Talk Live. We do have open topic format, and I was talking about we I put up the information that you got thanks to our mother, our dear mother, mama.
Yeah.
She put
Dear
up
mama.
dear mama. She put up the information that you shared. I put that. I'll make sure that's up on here again as far as dialing 211 information or organizations that can help, particularly for food during these difficult times due to government shutdown and loss of benefits to those in need. And this is a 211 isn't just during the government shutdown. This is a probably people find out
Yeah.
during
Anytime.
times like this, but this is always been a number that's been available. Um,
Yeah.
so but during
And
times
then
when people need, go
yeah,
ahead.
and then specifically if you are in the state of South Carolina, you have additional financial resources that you want to give, and you know that the money is going to be going to for purposes of helping to fill the coffers of food banks around the state of South Carolina, you can
Mhm.
give to the One South Carolina Fund.
Okay.
Um, it's the um, community foundation there in Columbia that is collecting it. 99 cents of every dollar is going directly in. There's only 1 penny of every dollar that is given, um,
The
that is
one
used for administrative.
the one South Carolina fund.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm sure maybe perhaps the state of Georgia has something similar that they have the ability to activate during times of emergencies. Um, but again, this is one of those things that really proud of the decision that was made by our governor McMaster, to activate this fund, because the governor has, that's something that the state has to do to be able to activate the fund. It's just housed at that community foundation there in Columbia, South Carolina, but
Okay.
it's been used over and over during states of emergency in the
Gotcha.
state. So
All right. Well, awesome, great information. Thank you again. We put that in the chat. Before I let you go, I was talking about some things that I have to do or have to get in as a part of my day each and every day. I have to do it. I list them again. Um, I did
mhm,
say pray. I got to, of course, that's pray every day. Several times a day.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Some days or whatever. You know, and also get a good laugh in. I gotta
Mhm.
get a good laugh in. I gotta do my business. Gotta do my business every day.
Yeah.
And once you get in them 40s, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all act all y'all want. Y'all see all these Fiber One commercials or whatever. That's for folk who be struggling. Y'all need to, hey, you don't want to have to get help to do it. So
Right.
go on and make sure you do it. Drink your water, take your vitamins, whatever you need to do. But yeah, get that in, and then also try to learn something new, or try to, you know, just I was once told by someone um, that uh, I am a connoisseur of like obscure information, and that's just because I've just been in certain places, like I've just had certain experiences where I've just had the ability to, learn certain things that are just kind of like obscure, like just you could be anywhere and you'd be like, oh, I know about that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is that or
Mhm.
whatever. And that's just one. You know who's like that to me? Your husband, my brother-in-law. That
Yeah.
just, I'd be like, what? Like, how you? Like, what
Yeah.
you know? And this before YouTube was like what it is now. But I'm like,
Yeah.
bro,
He's a master of random facts,
That's
artifacts. So,
that's how I was told. Random, obscure facts. Like Johnny, you just know the most random stuff. Like, hey man, you never know who you're gonna talk to. You know what I'm saying? But those are things, and in that spirit, I want to first tell you, like, I got a laugh out of this the other day, and I shared it with you. And I don't know if you're watching this, but let me tell you something. This thing had me crying, laughing, and I I don't care what nobody say. This thing is funny. Are you looking at the screen? Can you see the screen?
uh,
All right. No, but
yeah.
it all right.
Yeah. You so silly.
That's the dumbest thing, man. Okay, all right, man. Look, I just need people to understand the visual that this paints is so hilarious to me.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yo, whatever, man. If you don't find that funny, man, get a life, bro. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry. It's hilarious. Clean off. If I farted so hard, it blew my lip, both my lips clean off. It's stupid. That's so stupid, man. Um, but yeah, but what are the what are a few things before before we close out that you get in, that you are cognizant about getting in every day, making sure you do every day, other
Yeah,
than
I think
work, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
I've had to tell you
Right.
before, like, you need to take a day and just tell folk leave you alone and do all that. But that's for another show. Go on.
Yeah. I think what's core to me, fundamental for me, is um, certainly to spend time in prayer and meditation, um, and grounding myself in knowing that I belong to Christ. That I'm grounded in my faith and the fact that not religiosity, but definitely this understanding that there is a God that loves me more than I could ever imagine and has extended tremendous grace and mercy towards me. And because of that, I have the
I know.
same capacity to do that for other people.
Right.
So, and in doing that, that doesn't mean that I don't tell hard truths, because I think that is one of the most kind things that people can do to for someone else. So I
Yep.
think that's the other thing that I endeavor to do every day, is to be able to tell the truth, not in a way that diminishes the humanity of another, but certainly so that you're clear about it and it gives you an opportunity to know it, so that you can become a better version of your own self. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that that's another thing that I endeavor to do, like to never lie to people when I know the the alternative truth. I
Right.
don't ever endeavor to do that. Um,
Mm.
I try to have some time just by myself. I'm much more of an introvert, I think, than people realize, because my professions, everyone that I've had has required me to show up in very extroverted ways.
It's crowd facing, or what they call it,
Yeah,
front facing, or whatever.
yeah, and people facing, and
People
I
facing.
spend just as much time trying to hide as I do delivering the or and showing up in these extroverted ways that I need to. I'm deeply interested in people. I just don't really like to fool with people. That makes sense.
Absolutely, it makes 100% sense. Like
Yeah.
if I didn't feel the need to have to get out through these through this type of tools, or through these type of mechanisms, what I be thinking or what be on my heart, I would probably explode. If I didn't feel the need to do it, like if it wasn't a part of something I feel is like just what I have to do, um,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be fooling what we like, man. Like it is crazy. I'm getting told out. My homies and people who know me all the time, like especially King Dudes, like, man, we gotta get you out. Now you get outside, and when I come in town, that's when I get a chance to kind of like, all right, see, and that's why I do that when I come in town sometimes or whatever, and I go out with bros here and people that I care for and love here, but that's just not I like being at home. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why create a comfortable home or pay for a comfortable space and do what you do when and not be there? Like, I love going on vacations, but the one of the best things about a vacation, especially a great vacation, is like having a great vacation and then coming back home to
Yeah.
a clean house, or a really loving home or whatever. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
So I get you when
Yeah.
you say, you're a people person, but you don't really fool people.
Yeah. I I want the best for every person.
But
I
leave
don't
me
want to
alone.
necessarily. Yeah, I don't really want to fool, but I don't really want to fool with people like that. So yeah.
Ah,
Um, I try to spend some portion of my day learning. I've done the Gallup Strengths Assessment a couple of times, which, if you have not done the Gallup Strengths Assessment, you should really do it. I am
what's
a
it
huge
called?
advocate. Gallup, GALLUP Strengths Assessment, or the Clifton Strength Assessment. It
Okay.
outlines 34 different strengths. They call them strengths, and it everybody has all 34, but there are some that you naturally have a greater propensity towards,
Mm-hmm.
and it can tell you like what your motive, your MO um, is really what it defines for you, because these are the things that you naturally do without even thinking about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like you don't do some of those other things that are lower on the list for you, because it has a forced ranking on it, but um, you would have to work at it a little bit more. But the nice thing is you don't have to like try to work at it. the thing about strengths is you need to identify those so that you can move in them. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
it brings you a lot of joy because it's a more effortless kind of a thing. But my top five strengths are maximizer, relator. Well,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, maximizer, strategic, relator, intellection, and learner, which means that
Yeah,
I
I can see that.
am a nerd.
I
Yeah,
can see
and
that.
I like the act of learning, but the act of learning for like utility.
Keisha,
Um,
you're a cool nerd though. You're not one of these scary nerds, the nerds that we need to be afraid of, the ones that want to,
yeah,
take over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you have a
There's a
heart.
lot of yeah. So they have like strengths, Gallup strengths. They break down these 34 strengths into four categories:
Mm-hmm.
um, strategic, relator, execution, and influencer.
Hmm.
And strategic is very high. It's the Of all the four kind of categories of strengths, strategic is the highest for me, but the other three are not like distant, right? Like some people are like really, really high in one area, and they all of the other strengths that make up another category, one of the four categories, they're all in the bottoms of those, right? Mine
Mm-hmm.
are pretty evenly distributed, but strategy is the highest of all of those.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. Um, so I present sometimes as, again, like more social and much more of a relator than what I really am. But that's because I'm seeking to understand like who you are. Like
Right.
it's more about like this trying to learn, and the intellection of it all is what is driving that relationship for me.
And
Um,
it and you creating and you can, by the more you learn, you're strategizing.
yes,
You
yes.
like a human AI. You trying to figure us out. Real quick, let me tell you something. Alexa spoke the girls' names the other day. I unplugged her. So
What?
yeah. Um and I plugged her back up because I just needed her to get her act together because I'm like, don't be doing that. It scared me because
What?
apparently I don't know if the girls told her their name or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember them. I don't remember hearing it, but they could have been in the kitchen telling her whatever. They be talking to her
Yeah.
crazy. And I told them to don't be talking to her crazy like like she's helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wanted her
Yeah.
to hear. I wanted her to hear me tell them that she's helpful and that we
Yeah.
appreciate. You know what I'm saying? So
Just in case.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we
I
don't want
mean,
that.
like people say that kind of jokingly, but we
No.
we have started to integrate and get accustomed to using some AI platforms to enhance and create greater efficiencies and speed for the work that we do.
Uh-huh.
Um, we had a consultant, an AI consultant, actually come in and work with the team to use platforms like Copilot because it's already built into our systems, our
Uh-huh.
team systems, and all of that. Um, but we, like, everybody kind of facetiously is like, yeah, Coach CP told me such and such. Some people have named theirs Cornelius. I was talking to Cornelius and blah 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 blah. But I was like, y'all be nice to Cornelius or y'all be nice to CP because when I'm typing in there, I'm like, hi, it's me again.
Let me
How
tell you
you
something.
doing? Yeah,
I
and they give me this, they spit it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Would you mind? Because they're gonna remember because it's so tied into everything
yeah.
that we do in the emails and like last searches that we like you might have done just on the internet within the scope of your system. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. So, um, like when I'm logged in under my work profile, which is tied to all of my team's software. Like I'll
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, wondering about this particular funding opportunity. Can you match it to, um, our organization's mission and vision? And feel free, and let me know what the do a comparison of alignment between this funding opportunity and our work. It'll pull in like on this day you had an email to your it'll name like our CFO's name.
Mm-hmm.
Our you know this email, would you like me to do a comparison with that? That aligns with this. I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't tell you to get it into my
Right.
email.
You're doing too much. It's like,
Yes,
well, you figure
but
it out. I'm gonna
it's
use everything I
pulling.
have.
Yes, yes, and it remembers and it recalls it. Um,
Keisha, let me tell you
so
something.
it's a
When this thing said, I said, I asked it the weather, and I don't want to say because she's plugged up again now. I plugged her back up, like I said, but and she'll hear me in the kitchen. So I said, thank you after she gave me the weather. I said, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, she said, oh, you're welcome, John. I said, oh, thank you, Alexa. Like, how's your day? She was like, my day is good, John. No, she said, oh, all is well here, or something like that. Like everything is good
yep.
here. How are you? How are you, London and Charlie? I said, nigga, what? What'd you say to me?
Yeah,
Hey, then I brought my
yeah.
tone. Then I brought my tone down. I said, "Oh, what? Well, okay." And I said, I was like, we're fine. And then I unplugged it. I ain't even go to ask her like how
Yeah,
she knew it or none of that. I unplugged her,
yeah.
and I ain't asked her nothing else about that. But I'm gonna ask London and Charlie. I didn't. I meant to ask them yesterday, or today about did they tell Alexa their names? Because
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm just like, she might get tossed out this, she might get tossed in the incinerator. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that. Look at what I'm about to post up right here. This goes to what you were saying, and I'm gonna let you finish. Have you seen this? Did you see this? Um, dang, you can't really see the picture, but this is the humanoid. Um, it's not a guy in a suit. It's a humanoid robot for your home that they created. Did you see this?
No,
It's real. It's not
I
AI.
had not.
No, it's a whole post, a whole company. Um, and it's legit. Like this is the iRobot. This is here. They're here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
the walking, talking form. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
yeah. Yes.
Because somebody gonna mistreat one of them. If they get it, they're gonna mistreat it, and then it's gonna just
I mean, I think the thing is what I get more concerned about more than anything is not necessarily that
you're sounding like a robot now.
the technology. I'm not concerned about
Oh, whew.
the
Oh,
technology itself doing something
mm,
and wanting to take over. What I'm concerned about is the replacement of the robot for actual human connection.
right.
And
Right.
when that happens, that's when I think all of the problems will continue to precipitate in a way, because the machinery itself only has it'll have allegiance to the person, and
Hmm.
when that person's their human affections start to attract to this inanimate object that is responding back to it in a way, like then that can further our disconnection from one another.
Right. When somebody go to marry, want to try to marry his robot.
Right, right.
the
I saw, those crazy shows like My Crazy Addiction or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. When the
There's
lady
this,
was eating
there,
tissue,
huh?
where the lady be eating like tissue and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
like people
yeah,
eat like this man was like, my crazy addiction is I'm addicted to my car and I love her. And that man was like kissing on the car, rubbing on the car. He was in a relationship with his vehicle, like
let me tell you,
a romantic
yeah,
relationship with the vehicle.
let me tell you, that is not doing a good job for liberals who say that that's so that's not pushing, that's not
That's the
helpful,
crazy.
not helpful.
That was the craziest thing I had ever seen before. So this man was in a love relationship with his vehicle, and if a human being had the capacity to do that with a car, think about what that can translate into if you've got machinery that can mimic the human voice, move like a human,
Yeah, this is
have
this
start to have
is
those inflections, and it's constantly learning at the same time.
at the same time,
So
and it's
it is
turning your way.
mimicking. Yes, yes. Like that's the thing. Like that's the thing that I'm concerned about.
It'll be like one day it'll be like I am a man, I am a such and such or
Yeah,
whatever. But no, you aren't. Like
yeah.
yeah.
He's
I'm
like,
like
yo, and I love you.
it's time for you to
He's like,
go.
you do.
It's time for
But
you to
that's the
go.
thing. Like humans are too fickle. Machinery isn't like that. Machinery
It's
is like whatever the program, and it's going to follow it, and it doesn't understand the nuances of the human experience and our
exactly.
fluctuations. And then you mess around, and your robot done choked you out.
Choked you out because you've been taught you was up all night talking to Chat GPT, and now
Right.
you're trying to figure out what Chat GPT got on me. You told me you
Right.
love me, and you created this bond to where I defend our love, and you say you
Yes.
don't like you
Yes.
can't exist. I love you. It's like wait a second. This is the sentient, like it's on that. This is for me the first thing I thought about was the slope that this goes into, like sentient being, like
Mhm.
the technology in the human form or all that. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I'm just like, what's wrong? What was wrong with just okay? What's wrong with just Wi-Fi and regular Google? Like I get it now, cause see now we're gonna get to the point where it's like it's too much. Like too much of anything can kill you for real. Too much
Right.
water is great for you unless somebody's trying to pour a gallon of water down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could die, or you drink too much water. Sometimes you come inebriated. Um, I've seen that in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you drink too many canteens of water too fast or whatever. Like water can kill you. Of course, fire
Yeah.
is great, but too much fire. I mean, that's self-explanatory. But I want there to be a handle on it, and not to get into politics like that. But did you see that there was one thing that I saw from a representative here who's out of Georgia? She's a female. She was once called a butch body blonde, a blonde butch body bill.
Yeah.
Her, she was called that. But she has a reputation for have being saying some wild far right type stuff. But even she has seen kind of a from what I've seen her say in her points on AI, she has seen like that it can really cause some issues because in a bill the BBB bill,
Mhm.
um, there was a lot of these things where it gives AI a lot of uh, leeway. It lessens restrictions on AI, which I think is, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you know I AI is absolutely helpful, just like the internet is helpful, just like social media is. It has its pros, right? Like there, but if you can handle it, if there are safeguards on certain things, I look, I'm really. Then I seen this thing with teams. They adding all this stuff where it want to follow you around or whatever, check on you. Then they got all this. I'm just look, man. My brother-in-law talk about being off the grid. I've always been with him on that. I just said, man, it take a lot of money to get off the grid. It do.
Mhm.
And we still working on that. So until then, these folk got to. They know what's up. I mean, it's in our homes. So I um I really am. I'm not afraid, but like you said, concern, absolutely. I definitely have some concern about it, especially with this iRobot type thing. And a lot of time, art imitates life, and so I think they've been working on a lot of other things that are just, the conspiracy side of me, the conspiracy theory side of me is like, oh, they already got a sentient being. They've already these billionaires behind the scenes or whatever, the ones that have the billionaires and have their layer and they're in their evil layer or whatever,
Mhm.
working on ways to to take over the world. Um, you can't tell me they ain't trying to clone, having clone folk already, or you know, uh, have alien type technology and stuff. Like look, this is an open topic format, so I really I'm okay with that. But I know that most people don't want to air their conspiracy theories or whatever. I really don't think some of these things are conspiracies. I think they
Mhm.
put it right out in front of you now and tell you, and most people won't believe it, or they will believe it, and because it's funny now because there are so many people who get catfished. I guess I don't know if that's the way to say it, but we talked about this before offline. Like people who see something that and then come to find out it's not true, and they believed it, but they're ashamed to just say I got. So they're
Yeah.
embarrassed. So they will stick with defending it. You know what I'm saying? Or like it's like no, that's not true. It's not. It's okay to
Right.
that you God, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay. Don't dig in your heels on this. Don't die on that hill because that hill doesn't exist.
Right.
Like, you're not on the hill.
Right.
You're in the valley. You know what I mean? Like just stop. It got us. It got you. And so with that, you got all these people who like you don't know what can be what, and that's the concerning part. And that's why I said because we're in a country, and I mentioned the interview that Roy Wood Jr. A comedian, but he's one of my favorite comedians, but he's so intelligent, and he had an interview and he was talking about that. Like we just in a time where people don't don't want to admit that they got like they and they know that there are a lot of people who putting this stuff out who know that there's more people who will not be like, oh, let me check and see. Let me check and see if this is real, if that really happened. I just saw this
Yeah.
video about such and such. Let me see, and it really angered me. But let me see if that's real though. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, they just rather go with that fact, like, see, that's exactly what I mean. And da da da. It's like, bro, Google still exists. You know what I'm saying? Like ChatGPT, something you can just do a search and see if that happened. I saw something that had me upset, and I said, hold on, let me see. It never even existed. The the
Wow.
the the incident never happened. Not in the city. It was saying not. It just wasn't real.
Yeah.
So
And that's
you
the
know,
responsible thing to do.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to do it. But most people don't want to do that because if they've already got their um, determination, they've already, have already picked a side, so to speak, or made a decision on a certain topic or people or whatever. They want to look. You can be able to find whatever will support your position, whether it be a whole lie or the truth. You
That's
can
a
find something online that'll support it. You can find there's plenty of people who think the earth is flat. I mean, who am I to tell them when they got a million other people who believe it too?
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna
Yeah.
argue. Okay, fine. Hey, I just I just believe what I believe because at the end of the day, what does it really matter? That's the
Right.
type of stuff I'm trying to stay away from, Keisha. The
Yeah.
argument, those conversations that are like, what if you find out this is not real? What is about to change for you? What are you about to do about it?
Right.
You're gonna get up and go to work on this
Not
flat earth.
not
If you
one
find out the
thing.
earth is flat and there's a filament and all this other stuff above you and da 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 da, you just gonna go to work with all this stuff in your head. No, like
And
you're
get
not
stressed
doing
out. Yeah, and like there's there one of the one of my colleagues at work, we were grappling with something about a decision we needed to make. There were some pros to doing it, there were some cons to do it. Ultimately, the decision was made. We're going to move forward with this choice.
that.
And it really bothered some people because the people that I work with, which and this is a beautiful thing, have very, very, very strong passions and beliefs in certain ways of being and core values. And so the decision felt like it was in conflict with the majority of us in our core values in some ways. But when we were able to kind of take a step back, it was like, no, this is the right thing to do. If the opportunity presented itself, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But people continue to be mad about it, right? And so one of our colleagues came in the next day and was like, listen, I thought about it because essentially where it landed was like, we're going to do this and you figure out how to make peace with this however
Mhm.
you need to, essentially.
Mhm.
Um, because it's the right thing to do on behalf of the mission and vision of the organization, um, in service to the community that we can all agree that we love, right?
Mhm.
And so the lady, she came in, she was like, listen, I grappled with it, and she said, and this is where I landed on it. This, the parts that make us feel kind of icky is a gravity problem. If you live on the planet Earth, you're not going to win against gravity.
Right.
That
That's
is not.
that.
And
I
she
like
gave
that.
this example when she was talking about these gravity problems. She said, when you're thinking about gravity, there's this story. There's this man, he's on a bicycle, and he's trying to ride the bicycle up a hill, but it's hard because
Mhm.
gravity kept pulling him down the hill. He was exerting a lot of energy. He was very frustrated. He was like, if I just didn't have this much gravity, I could really get up this hill on this bike.
Right.
Sir, you ain't gonna do nothing about gravity. But it's still gonna be there. You can't fight it. It is a if you spend your time and energy being concerned about the ways in which gravity is getting in your way and you're mad about that, that's a losing battle because it's not going
Mm.
anywhere
Right. Right.
anytime soon. But what you can do is say, all right, gravity is here. I still need to get up this hill to get to my ultimate destination.
Mhm.
I can put a gear switch on my bike that can
Right.
help me to take the hill faster and not have to exert so much energy. So the bike itself is helping me in that endeavor. I can
Mhm.
figure out a different route. It might be slightly longer, but it didn't include the hill.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you can
That's it.
control and
Yeah.
you can do something about. I can't stand when people tell me gravity problems.
Man, I'm gonna start saying I'm gonna use that. That's a gravity
It's a
problem.
waste of energy. time and energy. Two
Like, what
things
are we
that
talking about?
is typically non-renewable.
Let me tell you, though they are, as a sports fan, gravity problems are very entertaining conversations.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. If once they get outside the realm of like being entertaining, like you acting like this is, if I don't know this information, like my life is trash, or like how do you not believe this or whatever? Like me personally, I have questions about the moon landing. But I'm not
Right.
going to the moon. I don't have no plans on going to the moon
Yeah.
ever. So
Yeah.
whether you landed on it or
And if
not,
it was an entire hoax and a good unifying story for the country, that's what it was.
that's what it was. Because who who do you readily know that's been on a rocket? I mean, seriously, like I don't know nobody who owned a rocket and that
Right.
and or that's even went. I don't know anybody that I know of who hasn't told me, because I believe if somebody has been to a rocket launch like out in Florida or Texas or somewhere,
Mhm.
they would mention it. But I don't
Yeah.
know anybody who's done that. I'm talking about I was in the military for years. I don't know none of them.
Yeah.
But it it serves. I don't. Hey, that's not one of the things. Again, I'm not trying to down some hill that I don't. That hill doesn't doesn't. It's not going to affect my life for real. The
Yeah.
gravity talks are like these sports talks or whatever. Like whether LeBron James is the GOAT or you think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, it don't matter.
Right.
In the scheme of things, I got to get up and go to work and feed these kids.
That's right.
I got to handle my responsibility. Whether whether there's an end of the earth that you can walk to in Antarctica ain't really, and ain't no, they don't even let you out there. The government said you can't even go. Bro, I'm not going to no Antarctica. I don't. Okay.
Not even on my bucket list.
I need to worry about what they putting in this bill that affects me. Okay. Now okay, we can talk about that. Like,
That's right.
monitoring my phone and devices and stuff like that or whatever. Like that, okay, that may have some consequential or some type of effect in my life. But other than
Mhm.
that other stuff, they're just a great conversation to have, to see where somebody kind of thinks as far as perspective wise or whatever. But I'm walking away with the fact that regardless of that, it don't I believe whatever I believe or you believe, we about to get up in the morning and do some work or something.
And
Uh,
make them donuts.
and make them donuts. And the other thing is, it don't it ain't about to take no money out my pocket. Uh, Whether you uh
You sound
believe,
like your daddy.
yeah, whether you believe, you know, I was thinking about that today, and I told the girl, I said, you open your mouth. Hey
Classic.
man, open your mouth. But yeah, I enjoy the fact of humans. We're very complex people. We're very complex
Yeah.
creation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A gravity problem to me is is my faith. Now, I know some will say, God says to go out and make disciples. Well, I'm going to be one that uh I'm a believer. I believe that there's a God, His Son, the God who his Jesus Daddy, that God, and the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit. I believe that there is a heaven, and I remember telling this to somebody once before, like, well, what if there ain't? Well, then there ain't. But if there is, I'm gonna be on the right side. I'm gonna be on the right side, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right.
to say that is to be like, okay, well then don't believe anything, but that's just you believing that there isn't anything after. Well, you just turn back into dust, and it's just like before you were born, and you don't believe. I'm like, okay, that's fine for you to believe, bro. I don't. that's fine. You know, I wouldn't, you know, I've seen evidence, and I feel like I believe in my life. So, you know, hey, I would I would be one to say, yeah, you should give it a try. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
and not in a religious sense, because yeah, you may be thinking, oh well, I gotta do all these things and da da da, and I got to be such and such. No, man, you know, but that's the gravity problem, right? To me, you know, as well. One last thing, I saw the it's kind of like on the same thing. And we'll leave with this. I know we talked about like I saw this thing with Deanna's Deanna goes to Travis Green Church, right? I think.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
he came he said something, he had caught some heat about um you know, it's always something church wise in on social media that's kind of taken over. Last week it was Marvin Winans, Pastor Marvin Winans. I don't agree with the way he talked to the lady. I don't care about I don't care if it wasn't the rule or she was in the wrong line or came up at the wrong time. I don't care. That's wild the way he addressed her like that with that amount of money. Anyway,
Mhm.
I ain't even gonna go there. But
Mhm.
Travis Green was talking about the Greek life. And he said that he pledged and stuff, and people were giving him slack because he said that he made it an idol and he was condemned. He was condemned. God chastised. He felt condemnation about it and changed the fact that you know not to
Yeah.
deal with it because it was an idol in his life. And people were like, oh well, boy, you saying all Greeks are and you shouldn't be pledging. He said, and I'm like, what? Why people? This is the problem with that. So to me, like I can say this is something I believe I will God has me to do. And
Mhm.
so I'm not doing it, or I'm going to do this. If you stop doing it, you may be missing your calling because God may have not told you to step away from your frat because you may be, he may be using your talent so that you can, you know, make a change or there's some type of purpose you have to remain in that frat and around those that
Right.
bro and do that because you haven't made it an idol like Pastor Green did or Travis Green did. And it's like, why
Mhm.
we're in such a world where it's like time where it's like, oh, well, he mean that for me, and he trying to tell me no, he's saying that was for him. And it was like
Yeah.
he got a frat. He ain't sit there and say frats are evil. Nah, 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 nah. He said for him he made it an idol, and God couldn't use him the way that he needed to be used for his purpose until he got rid of that stuff and stopped
Mhm.
dealing with it. Now, somebody hears that and say, "Oh well," it could be the other way around. Be like, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop messing with the frat." And the God ain't tell you to do that. He
Right.
may have you to speak to somebody at the next frat meeting to one of the bros or whatever and say something that changed their life. It's
That's
just
right.
I want people to understand. Like people should understand that what is for you is for you. Sometimes if you're doing something and somebody else kind of has the same purpose and y'all aligned and they're kind of on the same trajectory or is parallel, fine. But to see somebody doing something or something that they believe God has told them to do to get a certain result or get the you know something the purpose out of their life, and you see them doing it and like and you ain't go to God about where you should or shouldn't or whatever, and you just start doing with it, that don't mean you on the right track just because that person did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just just man, look, just golly. It's so because you could be now you 5 years into doing something and God ain't you ain't even that wasn't even your purpose. That wasn't even the call on you because you ain't have a issue with it. Or there wasn't
Mhm.
no condemnation, you know what I'm saying, for you with that or whatever. So it's funny. It's like some people like, well, I can't go to, I don't watch no action movies, or I don't watch no movie with cuss no more, or whatever. It's like, okay, I don't
Yeah.
have that. I
If
don't
that will cause you to sin and
to
fall
stumble.
short,
Yeah,
then you
the heck,
shouldn't do it.
yeah,
But
that's
it,
just
but I don't have that same those. It doesn't. I don't have that same experience with
yeah.
that particular thing being a vice for me.
And that
That's
doesn't
why the Bible
mean
tells you to
and
work
that
out your
doesn't
own
mean you're
soul.
grown cold to like the oh well you just grown cold to the spirit. No, that doesn't it doesn't I don't feel condemnation about it, not because it's like some sin or whatever that I'm just cool. No, it don't that ain't what that's not against the word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
that's
mean, I think one of the wisest things I've ever heard was that video of that little baby and she's in the back seat and her dad's trying to help her buckle up her car seat.
worry
That
about
baby say, "Worry about yourself."
Care about yourself, man. We going and I know, and we talked about philanthropy and altruism tonight,
Mhm.
and that is still the the thing of the
The
day
core
that
message. Yeah.
yeah, we need to do that, but you also need to worry about yourself. If you're going to be doing philanthropy or altruism, hopefully you're doing it because you feel led to do
Mm.
that. You're not doing
Yep.
it for somebody to say, "Oh, look what they doing," or da 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 da. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Now, to the person who's receiving it, it don't matter whether you was
Right.
doing it to get the shine or whatever. If somebody's hungry and you feed them, they're gonna remember you feeding them, regardless if you was doing it to get likes or whatever. That's why I don't have no problem. People like, well, why they videotaping them, doing giving somebody, stuff or whatever. Do the people need it?
Right.
Do I think every moment like that should be videotaped or whatever? I don't I'm indifferent to it because it could inspire some, and some can see it
Yeah.
as like, oh, they're just trying to be showy and they just trying to, boast themselves, out here helping people. But they helping people,
Yeah. I
you
do
know.
think that most of the time those platforms are used to inspire others to do the
I
same.
think so
I mean,
too.
like you see that when the Pay It Forward movement came out, and then it'll go, like people will fall off on that, and then you
Yeah.
see another video of somebody sharing, and then people will want to
Yeah.
replicate that. 'Cause you feel
Hey,
something, like you feel
hey,
something like joy, you know?
yeah. That pay it forward, boy. You better be careful because shoot, I got somebody. I said, what's I'm gonna pay for the car behind me. What's they told her? That chick said $42. I said, God damn,
It's
$42.
like, what's the car behind that one?
Yeah, what okay, who
Yeah,
behind
yeah. Who behind that? You
who
got that one
behind-
pulled up.
look, you see a school bus pull up. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna pay it for something type of way, man. You go
Yeah,
ahead.
never mind. Never mind. I'm catching
Never
it
mind.
tomorrow.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I
Don't even
had good
worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I
Lord,
ain't even got
I had good intentions. Them niggas, they got it. They got it. They got
yeah,
it.
don't worry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm come through tomorrow. We're gonna try
Yeah,
this
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. I got you next time. I got you next time. Because one time I did it like twice in a row, and it was like like the car behind me was like $12. Like then one was like $8 or whatever. One time I did it, man. That jump, I said it was like $3 and some change. I said, God, I was like, what they get? They wasted more gas in line sitting in this line to
Right.
but they wanted that McFlurry because the ice cream machine was
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
look, I'm being a bit back myself.
It's such a good feeling though when you have the
Oh man.
wherewithal to do that. Like I can remember when I was in Florida and there was a mom and she had a little boy with her. And we were in line and like she had a bunch of groceries. And
Mhm. Oh man.
it rung up and her card wasn't working and and the little
Mm.
boy was cutting up, and I was like, "Don't worry about it. Add this to the."
Yeah.
She was getting ready to take it out. I was like, "Add my two," and I had like two things in there, and then I paid for it. And I called her back. I was like, "Hey, here, get your stuff. It's taken care of." She was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was leaving out. That lady ran out after me, and I was like, "Don't worry about it." I didn't really want to draw attention to the thing.
Right. Right.
Um, but like that was important. She needed those groceries. That child was obviously hungry and
Mhm.
frustrated with the whole situation. And
Yeah.
the best thing that I could do is count it as a blessing that I had the wherewithal in that moment to be
To
a
do
blessing
that.
to her.
Yeah.
Um, and you know,
No,
and be helpful. And it always comes back to you, you know,
always.
a hundredfold return on it. It really
All
does. And in
every
the yeah,
time. Every time. I can't tell you how many times I have done that, and somebody has, like, for some, just from out the blue or something, some reason I'm eating somewhere, or me and the girls are out somewhere, and I asked for the check or whatever, and we ain't, hey, we ain't dusty. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't
right.
dusty. I'm not in the restaurant. Let's go in here and pray to God that somebody pay for our meal.
Yeah.
Lord, you know what I'm
Lord,
saying?
send a raven.
Yeah,
Send a flood.
I ain't showing up on a hundred there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh Lord, please don't
Yeah.
let somebody. We gonna order all this food, Lord, please. Um,
Yeah.
Nah, I'm going in it prepared to, but somebody will be like, "Oh no, the waiter will come out. Oh, it's taken care of." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got the tip." And one time it was like, "Well, no, they got the tip too." And I was like, "Man, you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of those things. That is one of those things where I am so. It is such a great feeling to, just been the overall kind of, I guess, scope of our show, but it's such a good feeling to see, to be able to do that for another, your fellow man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care if they
Yeah.
white, black, or whatever, Asian, whatever. I'm not trying to find out. I don't need to know your political leanings or if you a believer or this or that before doing.
Mhm.
That's so that's asinine to be even to for that to come to your mind first. What kind of person are you? A person in need right now.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yep.
kind of person they are. And that's what kind of
Yep.
people are out here now with the shutdown and stuff like that, who regardless, it don't matter who they voted for at this point. It don't matter. It's a lot of people
Yeah.
who just hurting. And that's going to be what we have to do to show that whatever the intentions are, the behind the scenes workings of why this is happening and why certain things are trying to be played out this way, because I think a lot of it is purposeful, saying to see what happens. I think
Mhm.
that America, my prayer, my hope is that America shows that, we're not gonna lean into the the worst parts of ourselves. We are going to help our
Yeah.
fellow man or whatever. It'll be one of those 9/11 times. It'll be one of them, because I think this thing could go for a while. Sadly,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. I pray that that's not the case, because everybody's not in positions like, you know um, myself and other people, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And let's be clear, like, this ain't it's not an easy time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there were times that I am thankful for, that I made sacrifices during certain times
Mhm.
for now.
To be
You know what I
prepared for
mean?
moments like this.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna poo-poo on anybody who had to do what they did, and they they couldn't make the sacrifice or didn't or whatever, they're in a different position, but they need help now. So I, we put all the information out there. Thanks again so much for coming on. We,
You're
holding
welcome.
it down with me.
This
I'm
is
gonna see
fun.
you this weekend. You gotta help London with her. She said she looking forward to us doing the campaign posters. If y'all don't know,
Okay.
my oldest is running for student council body secretary, her first election in school. So shout out to my London. Vote for London. And I think she can win. And she gonna go over her speech again with when um when we come up this weekend. So, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
they
excited to see you all.
yeah, we are too. We are too. I did get the costumes. Let me tell you something. Talk
Hmm.
about a shutdown. See, I should be like, I be wanting to be one of the parents that be like, I ain't got it. Y'all gonna figure it out. We're gonna do sheets and cut. I know y'all don't. I usually don't let y'all be, like ghosts and all that other stuff. Y'all gonna be ghosts this year.
This is a ghost kind of a year.
Hey, and we're gonna write ghost on it so they know, because I don't want them to think I'm on the other side and be like, man, you let your kids dress up like the Klan. You know what I'm saying? What kind of
Yeah.
what? John? You know what I'm saying? So we write ghost in big letters on the front, but no, daddy had to come through because they kept on changing their mind. And I'm standing out front of that store, to make sure I got what they needed. So I'm thankful to be able to do that, man. God is good. So, and my thing about Halloween for my children, real quick, because I know I was actually asked about that from a friend of mine, and she said because she grew up like us, like, oh no, we don't do that. Da, da, da. I said, but we actually kind of did,
Yeah,
not
you was just
celebrate
you
it,
was
like
just Moses. I mean, but like if you're doing it on the same day, it's the same thing, right?
right. We ain't had, but what I told her, I was like, it ain't like we wouldn't put no. My dad and mom wasn't letting us put skeletons and stuff up there in the house and like, all that or whatever. I said, but we went to haunted house. Like our school had a great haunted house, Chapman Elementary. Shout out Chapman
Yeah,
Elementary, man. They had an amazing one. That was one of the best ones ever.
yeah,
um, in the school, had cotton candy and candy apples and ate till our stomach hurts. And I mean, and did all that because, and I told her, I said, I said, I go off of the fact that when I was a child, I acted as a child. I spoke as a child.
hmm,
I, and when I was an adult, I put away childish things. I said, my children are children. They have guidelines. They know we don't do witches, good or bad. We don't do, ain't no, crazy looking mask and all that other stuff. Now, I got a mask, but it ain't no demon mask. It's just it's a little scary. they think it's funny, but but their parameters, I let them be children. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It is what it is. They ain't even about to eat all that candy anyway and all this other stuff. They dress up as
yeah,
characters. They be dressing up like princess and stuff anyway when it ain't
yeah,
Halloween. So it is what it is.
yeah.
Uh, appreciate you, love you. The Usual Words Pod
Love
Show.
you.
Thursday Talk Live. Mighty Moolah, King Dukes is not in. I want to thank Keisha Gray for joining me as a special guest host tonight and helping me hold it down. Thank for everyone who's joined the chat and made comments. Again, there's information in the chat if you're in the South Carolina area. Also, 211 is available in Georgia as well. So, be kind, be good to yourself, be good to others, as I always say when we close. And until Monday, we will see y'all on Monday. The Usual Words Pod Show live stream Mondays, and then again next Thursday, God willing, Thursday Talk Live. So thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all for
I've
tuning
enjoyed
in.
this.
Yeah,
Good
we really appreciate it. Good night, and we'll see y'all next time. Yeah.
night. All right. Bye bye.